Well, hello. Welcome back. I'm Claire. This is Purple Poppy. And today I'm working on the very first Marguerite Miller collage page for 2023. Now, again, this year I have just opted for the printouts. So I've got all those here. But I wanted to do something different this year. I'm very mindful that those that are doing the challenge that buy the actual book, they always have a printed page that they can either work on top of or it's pretty to look at, and they generally tend to be decorative papers or vintage papers. So I'm going to be doing that this year. Also, I was aware last year that I was constantly looking for a background. So this year I want to introduce some mixed media as well and some paints and things and create my backgrounds in that way. So, before we start, we need a kind of a transportation. Oh, here's my book, by the way. It's all decorated up, ready to be used. So, and on the inside cover, I used that box flap that came with one of my Santa goodies, and it's just a belly band that I can put odd bits behind. And I've decorated it up with tissue paper that was Happy Mail from the lovely Helen, and then this beautiful beaded fabric that was in a swap with she's not on YouTube, she's on Instagram. I Want a Peacock. Okay, so this will be my vintage stroke pretty page of week 1, and this will be my collage. So, any kind of transportation. Well, I've brought along this train. So I've got a train. A library card. Well, I've jumped onto the internet and I've printed off 3 library cards. A zoo animal. Well, I had this left from Defember. Now, I'm not 100% convinced that a kangaroo does belong in the zoo, but I'm going with it. Handwriting. Well, I'll need to do some writing. Stained paper. Well, obviously, I'm going to use paint and things on my background anyway. These are what I brought along as my vintage papers that I will be using on the back of this page for part of next week. And I've also bought some stamps along because I was figuring, you know, these kangaroos are outside, so we've got some, you know, plant life that we can use as well. Okay, so first things first, I need to lay down plastic layer so that I don't ruin my table, because I'm going to be using paints and things. Okay, bring back my book. The second thing I need to do is fold this all the way round, because I don't want anything going on that page I've already done. And then I am also going to put my list of prompts behind, so that again, you know, if I go over, I'm not ruining the rest of my book. Now, I learned a trick this week from Mrs. Paint-A-Lot about when you're using your sprays, instead of spraying directly and having a potential issue, spray onto something and dab on. So I'm going to try that. Now, today I've got Distressed Oxide Forest Moss, so green, and the same but hickory smoke, so grey. So we're going for green and grey in the background, and to complement that I have got Distress Oxide Iced Spruce, so green ink, and Archival Shadow Grey ink for my stamping. What I haven't got, I don't think, is a stamping block. Yes, I have. There's one just to the side there. So let's get in and get dirty, as they say. So first of all, I'm going to do the grey. And what she did, oh, you can get spray out. Why do these sprays always stop working? So I'm just going to put some on from the spoke, from the end of the pump, like this. Bit more. Bit more. Okay, and look, it's all over my finger, but it's not coming out the spray. It's ridiculous. Things like that really annoy me. Anyway, right, so, and then I'm just going to turn it over, press it down, press it down, press it down, and just keep going around so that I'm adding all this colour to my background. Okay, getting that nice sort of messy, splodgy look. Exactly what I want. I'm going to now go in with the green, sorry, the forest moss. Now that one sprays. And then what she did was she just mashed it all up in the bag. Although now I feel like it's more solid than it was with the spray. Look at that. See, so that didn't work, did it? The grey one did work, but that one hasn't, although it has given me a mess through the middle, that's for sure. I feel like now I need more grey, and I was right, this sticker paper is brilliant because it's going to soak up the paint. Right, I'm going to do more of the grey because I want to break down that solid green. So yes, going to be getting down and dirty this year with these collages. I really enjoyed doing it last year, but I wanted to try and really stretch myself this year and go a bit further. So I'm going to put that, oh, see now it's splodged completely on there, hasn't it? But it's definitely made it a bit more milky. There, I'm quite happy with that actually, to be honest. So now that I'm filthy, I'm going to get my heat gun, I'm going to dry that off, and then we are going to look at putting on our collage pieces. So I'm just going to put you on pause. Okay, so as you can see, that's now dried, and I'm going to bring in my stamps so I can get rid of that because it's all dry. Open it back up so that we're working on this nice flat surface, and this is facing me. I have to remember which direction with this camera. So I want to put various plant life around, and having done that, I'm going to look at putting on my front layer of the actual collage. So, stamp block. I love this one. These are obviously Tim Holtz. I think I'm going with the iced spruce. First of all, and I want them at various heights and locations because I want to build up almost like different tree areas. You can see them, they're definitely there. and then I can add on brown ones as well, obviously. So I think before I take this stamp off, I'm going to put some brown ink on here as well and pop that one sort of there. So how is everybody? Have you got back into the swing of normal life now? It's Christmas Day in our house today. It's the day that the tree comes down. The excess food gets packed away from being local. From being local, and gets put onto the normal, into the normal kitchen cupboards, gets integrated as it were. So yeah, Christmas. So when I finished here with you lovely people, out comes the hoover and the duster and all the packing boxes, and everything's going to be going away. Okay, so we've got two different areas with that one. I'm now going to bring in this squiggle one. I love this one. This was a Happy Mail from one of my lovely subscribers. I use it a lot. She knows that because she sees it on the screen. Obviously they're not standing out hugely bold, they're just building a background. I didn't want them to be massively standouty. You see, I'm making up my own words now. 2023, we're making up our own words. I'm just bringing in some of the grey. What you've got to remember is all of these little things add to the layers that are going on. I think just those two in that one, and then I'm going to bring in this really long one, and we're going to put more grey on this. So we've got the green, the grey, the brown. It's all very sort of nature reserve colours, isn't it? Can't get one on there for some reason because of that coil. That's the only thing. I wonder if I might have to do it by hand rather than on the, there you go, stamping palette. Actually that works quite well. I've never done that before. Might be doing more of that. Okay, there you go. We've got all of our forestry going on. We've got our lovely splodgy background, and now we're going to start to build it up. So we've got our train, and I feel like the train's going to be coming in. I feel like the kangaroos are going to be down here, and I'm going to write on here because he's going to say to him, look George, I can't read that. I'm just going to put something like more food or whatever, and we'll tuck in a library card as well. So it's time for the fussy cut. So let's get our scissors out. Let's start with a kangaroo. So I'm just going to fussy cut around this base quite widely. I don't necessarily want to precisely fussy cut it at all. I'm just trying to get a lot of that background out that was on the original printout, because it's not necessary for what we're using it for. In fact, I think a number of people that I watched doing the ephemera basically did fussy cut them out. Very few people used them as a whole. Right, so they're there. Okay. No, I don't want the kangaroo bit. Right, now what we're going to do with this train, I'm going to do the same thing with the train. I'm going to roughly fussy cut this train. Like so. And we are going to pop him down. At the top, as I indicated. Let's get this smoke. Apart from anything else, it confirms which direction it's going into. So yeah, we're going to have some fun with these this year. That's my intention anyway. I mean, I enjoyed doing last year's, but I felt they were all quite sort of serious until I got to the end of the year and I did that wacky head in the chair. So now I'm thinking, do you know what? Wacky's the way I'm going for 2023. Okay. Library card. I think I'm going for this green one. Right. So everybody's crafting. I know there's a few of my Facebook group ladies that are joining in the Roxy Creations stitchery, which I am also doing. Further adventures in essay reading. I've just realised, I'll look at the titles. Hang on. Love and Death, Boston Cradle. Okay, so we'll stick with this one. But I want it there so that I can write on it. I'm going to put that there, but right. So first of all, I'm going to write on here. I need a pen. A pen is what is needed for this next bit. We have a pen. So I'm going to put... Oh, I knew that was going to happen. This pen is very fickle. Right, I'm going to put that in the bin because that's not going to happen to me anymore. Because that happens a lot. Let's find one that's working. Right. Look, George. More food! Exclamation mark. I'm going to try and do it in one of those like speech bubble things. Okay. So that's what kangaroo number 1 is saying to kangaroo number 2. And the food is coming in on that train. And then I think I'm just going to put a bit more of my greenery, like my nature stamps on top of these kangaroos, and maybe a couple on top of that train, so it's all happening, you know, in, I was going to say the forest, but it's not really a forest, is it? It's just the landscape, isn't it? So getting glue onto my library ticket. Yeah, as I was saying, there's a couple of ladies in my Facebook group that are doing the stitchery as I am, and I'll bring that up a little bit higher. I can get that right on his mouth so it looks more right. And it was super exciting to hear that the first prompt yesterday was wildflowers. Well, of course, the first wildflower that comes straight to my mind is that of the poppy. So I can't wait to get started on that. I am super excited. As you know, I've really got into my stitching lately. Whoops, the bits falling out of my glue. There's obviously not much left in it now, is there? And just run down there. Okay, so we want that. I can trim that little bit off the edge of the page if I have to. It goes there, doesn't it? That's what makes it straight. Right, so we can trim this bit off here. Like that. Don't need that little bit. And then I am going to come back in and do some more stamping. So I think we're going to have this big one with the oxide green on top of them there. And there. And then I'm going to put it in the grey. We'll have a grey one like that. Okay, and then where was the little one that I used originally? So you throw these things down, okay, you can't find them. So then I'm going to go in here and in here like this, and then we're going to have a brown one to finish it off, like so. Right, now I know you can't see that because it's all upside down, so I'll turn it round like that so that you can see it a bit better. So we've got our transport, we've got our library ticket, we've got our zoo animal, we've got our stained page, and we've got our handwriting. So we've got everything we need to have. Now I need to work out a way that I am going to be using the prompts this week, because this year, because obviously last year I put them on the reverse side. Well, this year I am planning to reverse side with the vintage papers. So I'm thinking, I wonder if it becomes like, right, let's move all those out of the way. I wonder if it becomes like a paperclip flap. Or do I, no, it's going to stick out way too far. I think it goes up there, you pick it up, you see what it is. So I just need to put a little bit of brown ink, a bit of my sepia onto the edge of this, because I just don't want it so bright white with what's going on in our picture. Just colour that up a bit. And then this is going to go up there. Now, I don't really want to fill my book with staples, because I think that will be a problem. Because we'll just have a really bulky area there. Although, actually, that's one thing I was going to mention to you, in that getting this book, whoops, my glue's fallen out again. Getting this book that had the 72 pages in it did mean that I had to take 20 out. And in taking the 20 out, obviously I have given myself a lot more room to work in the book, which is pretty awesome, isn't it? So there we go. Each page is now going to look like this. It's going to have this on the corner. It's going to have some kind of interesting paint or textured background, and then the collage on the front. So that's page 1. And when you look at it, you'll see it like that. So then next week, I want to put this vintage paper on here, and then the collage will be on this page, but hopefully we'll be able to marry in with the vintage picture that's on this side. So it may be that I need to change that. Let's have a little quick look. Least favourite colour, a sewing notion, something from the recycle bin, a foreign language. Well, that's perfect because this is French magazine. So there you go, that's nice and simple for next week. Brilliant. So before we start thinking too much about next week, there's the first one. As always, I'd like to say a huge thank you for coming along and playing with me, watching the video. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye for now.